Hi everyone, welcome to Fluid Mechanics 3030. So I'm going to be walking you through the basically kind of like an introduction to the course. And so if you can, please navigate to our Canvas page, which is at this long link. What I'm going to do is walk you through the Get Started Here module here on the left-hand side. And this is going to be required as part of the first day assignment. So in this course overview and structure, which is located here. So the video today I'm going to post in course overview video, but I'm going to walk you through everything in the course, the Get Started Here module. So in this course overview and structure, you have all of the course communication guidelines, Zoom info, course syllabus, textbook info, the grading rubric, outcomes, and assignments in that module. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through that, starting off with course communication. So if you have general questions about the course, this class is a little bit different. So usually we'd be in a class, and if you had a question about the homework or about a specific problem, you would just raise your hand, and everybody in the class would be able to benefit from your response. Well, we don't really have that, especially in learning online. A lot of students just don't feel comfortable talking aloud in class. So the course discussion forum, what that does is it gives you an opportunity to voice your concerns or questions about a homework assignment. And it allows you to ask me a question, and then I will respond between 1 to 2 weekdays. If you have a personal question about your academic progress, then go ahead and go to advising protocol for civil engineers. So that would be in the Zoom meeting info and Zoom links. So you'd click there, and it would provide information on how to schedule an appointment with an advisor. For longer, more personal questions, and this usually has to do with issues with a homework assignment or with the exam grade, you have to come to my regularly scheduled office hours, which will be Wednesday from 2 to 4 p.m. The Zoom information is here. It's also here, so you can see office hours, Zoom link, and dial info. Entrance into my private meeting is first come, first serve. So you're automatically entered in a waiting room, and I respond to each student accordingly. And I try to send a message out that says, you're third in line or you're fourth in line, or, it'll be a couple of minutes, or I'll send a message that's saying who has a concern for 3030. If everybody has a question about 3030, I'll pull you all in at the same time. Okay, so again, this is kind of like an example of the course discussion forum. And so sometimes I would make a mistake, like I would get a date confused. So it says, hello, professor, I was going to go over the course introduction and notice you have Labor Day on the 2nd when it's actually on the 7th. Do we have class on the 7th? And it says, no, I made a mistake. I updated the syllabus and the instruction schedule. So, thank you for letting me know. This is very common, especially with instructors. When we're making our syllabus, there's lots of locations where we can make a slight mistake. So just let me know, post it on the forum, and I will update it immediately. Some students said they were having issues with accessing files. So it says, hi, professor, I'm trying to access supplemental video 2, but it says the file is locked. And then I said, fixed it, I do my best to make sure that every video is available for you to view, but sometimes the YouTube channel goes down, or sometimes the links break after I've already posted the material. So you just have to let me know, and I will update that. Sorry. And the most common use of the forum is to ask homework questions. And so somebody was asking for a clarification on if there was a time limit. Some people asked about if they were able to see their quiz scores. And so sometimes I forget to have the quiz scores automatically posted. And so then I immediately went in and said, yes, please. Yes, I will unpost them, and then you'll be able to see your quiz scores immediately. So again, there's a lot of quirks, especially with an online class. You just need to communicate me when you're seeing an issue. If you email me, and I'm being serious, if you email me, I will tell you to post to the forum, which will delay your response. If you send me a message on Canvas, which I very rarely check because I don't get a notification, I will tell you to post to the forum, delaying your response. So the point is, go to the course discussion forum. And if we go back to the Get Started Here module, here's the course discussion forum. So here's where you would ask those questions. Now we're going to move to the Zoom recording disclaimer. So every single lecture, every synchronous lecture, so every time we meet on Zoom, it will be recorded. All of those lectures will be provided on Canvas. When I start recording, you will all receive a notification for you to stay in the session. Okay, you can either consent to stay in the session or leave, and you can watch the video later. Okay, after the session, a report is generated to me listing the attendees, and that's just so I make sure I'm keeping track of who's coming in, and that doesn't mean to say that the Zoom recordings are extra credit. No, you don't get bonus points for showing up. You get bonus points for showing up and participating in my mind and in my heart, but not really in the grade book. Okay, so there's major benefits to attending lecture, taking live notes, interacting with me, but I'm not going to penalize anybody if you're unable to attend. I will utilize the chat and hand raising options. So I'd say raise your hand, do this, or let me know if you've experienced this. For now, you will all be able to unmute yourself if you have a question, but if that becomes cumbersome, so if there's people unmuting and not paying attention or things like that, and just being in general disruptive, then I will disable that setting and you will only be able to use the chat. But for now, everyone will be able to unmute themselves. Okay. The most commonly asked question I get in this class is, why is it telling me that the Zoom recordings are locked? Can you please, or it's some warning that says, actually I can go in here. It's a warning that says, you cannot view this recording, no permission. So all of you have permission, but there's a way that you have to access the recording. So to access the recording, when you're signing into Zoom, okay, you must log in with SSO. You would use your Cal State LA, so it's one word, Cal State LA, as the domain name. So it's going to ask you what's the domain name, and you're going to use your normal Cal State LA ID and your normal Cal State LA password, as if you were logging into mycalstatela.edu. Okay, that is how you access the recordings. That information is in the Get Started Here module, and this is the most frequently asked question. So here it is. Okay. When you're in Zoom, just, you guys are probably experts by now, but if you're not, then that's fine. You can unmute yourself. You can start your video. The camera is not required, so I'm not going to make you put on your video to show me that you're there. You benefit from being present. I'm not going to penalize you for not being present. Okay, I just want to make sure that that's understood. And you're muted when you enter. If you have a question, you can raise your hand, or there's like thumbs up, and there's celebrate, there's other icons you can use. At no point will you be able to share your screen. That's going to be turned off. And of course, you can chat with each other. You can chat with me. That will be turned off during exams. So you won't be able to talk to each other on the Zoom for exams. And if you feel as though it's too overwhelming, you have a lot of things going on in the background, you're not able to absorb the material, go ahead and leave the meeting. It's not going to bother me. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Leave the meeting and watch the videos when you have free time. Okay? Now, what I want for you to do is I want you to log in via your SSO. Okay? The reason why I want you to do that is because that's just a more professional way to access the room. It shows me your first and last name. There's no nicknames involved, and it won't say the word guest by your name. So if you do not log in with if you log in with any other account, like your Google or your Facebook, it will say guest next to your name. So if you want it to say your name, no guest, log in with the Zoom. And that actually shows me who is supposed to be in the room. If you're logging in as something else or via something else, I actually can kick you out of the room because you're not supposed to be there. when you come into the Zoom room, the only thing I ask is you keep your photo professional. So no dogs, cats, cartoons, or anything like that. It should be a professional photo of you, or if you don't want a photo, just have it say your name. I don't want to see anything silly. Okay. If you need to know where the Zoom info, for instance, if you're like, I'm not really sure where that is, I created a whole module called Zoom meeting info and Zoom links, where this is the lecture again, office hours, advising, and we will have review sessions before each exam. So everything has its own Zoom meeting, okay? All right, moving down to textbook info. Again, all of this is still inside that course overview and structure module. So the book that we're using for this class is the Sengel book of Fluid Mechanics, and it's an ebook, and it's the 4th edition. It is completely online. Okay, you may purchase a loose leaflet, which is basically like pages, and you put it in a binder for an additional fee if you want the hard copy. But the online book is absolutely required. You can sign up for a 2-week free trial period, but you must plan to purchase the book, okay? You must purchase the book. This class does not use the Young et al. Book from mechanical engineering. This class uses the Sengel online book. All of your assignments for homework and the readings are all online in that book. If you do not turn in those homeworks and those readings, you will not pass the class. I promise you that. So you have to purchase the book, okay? Again, going back to the Get Started Here, course overview and structure, if you go down to a section called Required Textbook, it has 2 active links. So here are the slides on how to purchase the book. So this is something that I made. And then here is a YouTube video created by McGraw-Hill that also shows you how to purchase the book. Watching either of these are fine and it will work. Obviously, I'm more biased towards the slides just because it's a step-by-step procedure. It's pretty simple. Instead of waiting for the video to get to that part, you just go straight to the slides. That's just my preference. Going to this section here, technology equipment needed for the book, I do suggest a laptop, a Chromebook, tablet, or iPad. You can access the assignments on a smartphone, although it is not recommended because you wouldn't be able to really see the problem, and it might make things a little more difficult when it comes to uploading files, because you will have to upload files every once in a while. What I want you to do is go to this active link that says McGraw-Hill Computer Compatibility Check. Go ahead and click on that, and when you click on that, it will show you whether or not your Chrome needs to be updated, if your operating system is fine, because you need to have your operating system up to date in order for you to access the images and the Smart Learn module of the book. So if you're unable to access things, if it looks kind of like, an X or a question mark on a specific file, you're gonna message me and say, Dr. Lopez, what's going on? And I'm gonna say, did you check the computer compatibility? You're probably missing Flash or something. So make sure that you check that, and everything should be green when you run that check. Okay, now the course syllabus. I always call the syllabus my contract. All the deadlines, my expectations, everything is succinctly discussed in the syllabus. So this is the syllabus for the class. So it's basically everything that I'm reviewing with you. I mean, it's all in this document, so there's no surprises. I also have some expectations here that I have of you. And yes, due dates, what we're going to be covering, some important links, my academic dishonesty policy, my OSD policy. So please go ahead. If this is too overwhelming and you're like, I want to look at a website or whatever, go ahead and go to Canvas. If you want a hard copy, it's there. It's going to always be there. And if you have questions about the syllabus, post on the course discussion forum. Okay, that's where you want to ask your questions about any clarifications with the class. Now going to the grading system. So remember I said before, if you do not do your reading assignments and if you do not do your homework, you're not going to pass the class, okay? It's absolutely true because your reading assignment is worth 15% of your grade and your homework assignment is worth 20% of your grade. So that's going to be 35% of your grade. And if you're an ME student, you know that you're not going to be able to pass my class with anything less than a C. If you're a CE student, okay, fine. You'll be able to pass, but you're not going to pass with a very good grade. And so I want to make sure you guys understand you have to buy that textbook in order for you to do your assignments. In order to do well in the class, you need to do that because the reading assignments are directly linked to the quizzes and the homework assignments are directly linked to the exams. So if you don't do these 2 points, then you're not going to do well in these anyway. And that will definitely lead to you not passing the class. 5% of the class is participation. So that's, other discussion forums about specific topics. There's some things like doing a problem together in a group that I'll have for the class. Again, it's not worth very much, but some participation helps students get by and make friends and develop study groups. Quizzes are all online and they're worth 30% of the grade. So it's roughly 1 quiz per chapter. There are 3 submissions possible. Again, you can turn in each quiz up to 3 times and Canvas will automatically take the highest score. Okay. Your homework, I'm sorry, I glossed over this part. Your homework will take 3 submissions possible as well, and it will also take the highest score. So you have several chances to improve your score on each of these things. So there's really no excuse why you can't do it. Just keep trying until you get the highest score, okay? Sorry. You will have 3 exams. I call them master exams, but they're just 3 exams for the class. The first exam covers chapters 1 through 3, the second covers 4 to 5, and the third covers 6 to 8. And each of those exams are worth 10% of your grade. So you might be wondering like, wow, that's not very much. It really isn't. If you don't do well on one exam, that's okay. You still have a chance to do well in the class. But you're not going to do well on the exams, like I said, if you don't do the readings and you don't do the homework. It's just not going to happen. This is the grading rubric for this class. It's also, again, in the course overview structure page and the syllabus, and it is here. Under no circumstances will there be a curve. There is no curve in this class, okay? If you earn 70%, okay, in the class, you will get a C minus. So again, for some of you that are in mechanical engineering, that's not an option. You have to get that 73 in order to get a C in the class. This class does have the grade book. You will be able to see the grade book. You'll be able to see all your scores from everything that you turn in, the readings, the homeworks, the quizzes, everything will be in that grade book for you to track how you're doing. Whatever percentage you see in that grade book is what you're earning. So there are no surprises. Okay. The specific outcomes of instruction. This course addresses the following criterion. So an ability to apply knowledge of mathematics, science, and engineering, and an ability to identify, formulate, and solve engineering problems. All we're doing in this class is solving problems using our math, science, and engineering knowledge. That's all we do in this class. When we finish this class, you'll be able to convert between international system and British units. I want to make a point to say that it is my charge to make sure you understand both system of units. Under no circumstance are you allowed to convert from one unit to the other. So if I give you a problem that's BG, you solve it in BG. If I give you a problem that's in SI, you solve it in SI. You're not allowed to switch between the units, ever. because it's my charge to make sure that you are able to use both systems. Okay. By the end of the class, you'll be able to develop systematic approaches to solve fundamental fluid mechanics concepts such as hydrostatics, fluid kinematics, conservation of mass, energy, momentum, applied dimensional analysis, and consider friction losses in pipes. And my hope is that you'll be able to gain the necessary knowledge that you need in order to do well in the fluid mechanics portion of the fundamentals of engineering exam. Okay, so how I design Canvas is there's 4 sections. So there's a learn, practice, perform, and master section for each chapter. So if we go down here on the left-hand side a little bit, so this is chapter 1 and 2. And so you can see we have some assignments, and then you have a learn module. So in this module, you'll have your weekly instruction plan. So in here, it'll be basically the videos that I expect you to watch before we meet for Zoom meetings. So here it says we're meeting on 8/25, and there are no required videos to attend 8/25. However, on the 1st of September, before we talk about compressibility and compressibility problems, you have to watch required video number 1 and supplemental videos 1 and 2. So if we go down a bit, okay, this is required video 1 that talks about density, specific weight, specific gravity, temperature effects, and ideal gas law. So you'd go ahead and click play, and it talks about the specific concepts, right? Now, as you're watching the video, so a lot of it is something that you can actually write, like density is a measure of fluid mass concentration. It'll provide equations and units and things like that. That's fine. If you want to watch the video and write it exactly as you see it, no problem. I also provide these bullets here. So you can see here, when you view the video, write governing equations to calculate fluid properties for density, specific weight, and specific gravity. So as you're watching the video, make sure you're doing that. Note Greek letters and common units for each fluid property. So something like that. Write the common value for reference density. What's the temperature? So there are certain questions that I want you to answer at the end of the videos. So you can design this however you want. You can watch the video and then go back to the bullets. You can write the bullets and then under the bullet answer them from what the information that's in the video. You design how you want to process this. I'm just telling you what is the information you need to get from the video. And I do that for every video, every required video. I do that for every required video. Now, the required video are what you need in order to get through the lecture. The supplemental videos are extra videos for a little extra, a little extra understanding. So this is the first supplemental video where they're talking about pressure. Again, most of these videos are pretty short. So this is, 2 minutes and 51 seconds. The first one I showed was 3 minutes and 9. So they're not very long. Okay, so hopefully not so overwhelming. But yeah, you don't have to watch the supplemental videos. They're just to supplement your knowledge. That's exactly what they are. Okay. All right. So let's go back to that learn. And then here you would find the lecture notes. And so this is where I would post, any slides, the Zoom recordings, anything like that, and a description of the lecture here. So this is where you would find all of the recordings. And I do post any notes that I take on the iPad. I will post those as well. So you'll have access to all of that. Okay. So that's the Learn module. Oh, sorry. In the Learn module is also your reading. So these are the reading assignments. If you click on this reading assignment, it'll take you to the page to purchase your book, just as an FYI. This module is practice, so here's your homework, and this module is perform, which is your quizzes, and then every chapter is going to look like that until you finish all the chapters to finally prove your mastery. And so this is where you would master the material in this exam. Okay, so that's basically how I design all of the sections for the class. You can keep going down and see they're all the same. Learn, practice, perform, learn, practice, perform, master. So it goes all the way down and it's all there with your reading assignments, your homework assignments, your quizzes. Sometimes I do offer extra credits. You know, it just, not every module will have that, but if it's there, if we have time to do it, we'll do it. Okay, here's the instruction schedule. And so this is what I would highly recommend. You put the Zoom dates, so all the red dates, put them in your calendar to make sure that you come to lecture when we're having our synchronous lecture. All the chapter deadlines, I'm sorry, not chapter deadlines, when we're finishing the chapters and when we're going to be talking about specific subjects. I don't know how many years now I've taught this class. In the many years since I started teaching this class, I've never deviated from my schedule. Even if I get sick, you will still have material with that title for that day. I've never deviated from my schedule. So make sure you have these exam schedules on your calendar because they are not going to change, okay? The university holidays are shown. Please let me know if I got those wrong. And again, make sure that you put all the important dates in your calendar. And it's all in this instruction schedule page. Okay. In Meet Your Instructor, it's just kind of general information about me and where I come from as far as my upbringing and my research and academia and stuff like that. Just something to get to know me a little bit. Okay. In this page is course deadlines and the regrade policy. So all the deadlines for, actually, let's go ahead and check those out. All the deadlines are there for the readings, homeworks, and quizzes. And so I just want to be sure you understand that under no circumstance do I extend these dates. This class is the most flexible class when it comes to turning in work, but it's the least flexible class when it comes to changing deadlines. There's no deviating from these deadlines. I don't mean to laugh, but it's not going to happen. All of your chapter 1 through 3, everything, your readings, your homework, and your quizzes are all due on October 11th by midnight. That doesn't mean that I want you to turn them in by midnight. I want you to turn them in much sooner, but I'm giving you that flexibility, okay? Also on the 11th, we have our exam 1, which is going to be open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you can see that the timelines are different, but the date is the same. Again, under no circumstance do I want you to turn all of the readings and homework quizzes on that day. But if something were to happen and you weren't, like let's say you had one more submission for the homework and you did pretty well, but you're like, okay, I gotta take my exam. Okay, turn in your exam. It's due at 6, and then when you turn it in at 6, go back to the homework and try that last problem to get that maximum score. Whatever, I don't care. It's due at 11:59 p.m. That's fine. Actually, I just see a typo here. It's not 11:59:59. It's 11:59. So that's an extra. That's not supposed to be there. I'll make sure to adjust that in the syllabus. Now, the dates are tentative and subject to change, so I always have to have that disclaimer, but you will be notified in advance of any change, and it will never be sooner. It will always be later. I don't do that. I don't play that game. Exam 3 is actually going to be our finals week, and it does coincide with the university set exam date. So it's tentatively set for the 15th. Because in the past, when I've taught this class, it's always been on the Wednesday of finals week. That doesn't mean that's going to stay the same. I am not going to change that date. If the university says the exam date is on Monday, it's going to be on Monday. That's just the way it is. The reason why we have those dates set is because it's supposed to minimize overlap for students, right? We're trying to make sure that we're giving all the students that are taking Monday, Wednesday classes a fair chance to do well in the finals by not offering overlap, okay? You might be wondering, okay, why the 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. deadline? Like, what is that about? Does that mean the exam is going to be 10 times harder? Does it mean it's going to take me 10 hours to do? No. So the way that I design my exam is it'll take about 2 hours for you to complete. It takes about 2 hours for you to complete, and then you have the remaining 8 hours to check your work, be super confident, to get it uploaded and turned in by that 6 p.m. deadline. Under no circumstances am I going to accept your exam after the 6 p.m. deadline. It is also your responsibility to make sure that all of the material was uploaded. So a lot of the times I get an email back from a student saying, oh, Dr. Lopez, I didn't upload this Excel file with my exam. Will you please consider it? The answer is no, because that Excel file was supposed to be submitted with everything else. You have to make sure that you upload all of your materials at the same time before the 6 p.m. deadline. I give you 10 hours. I think you all can do it within the 10 hours, okay? A quick note about the quizzes, each quiz time frame. So this one is not timed when you open it. Sorry. If you open the exam, it's open. There's no 2 hours. It's not you have 2 hours to do it. No, it's open. You can open it, you can close it, you can open it, you can close it anytime within that 10-hour window. Quizzes, however, they are timed. So they take about 30 to 40 minutes. And you have 3 chances, right? We said 3 chances. Okay. In the past, students have asked me, oh, professor, can you provide a suggested assignment schedule? Because these deadlines are new to the online system. Since going online, I've been very flexible with the assignments. So, but when we were in person, I wasn't, right? It was like every week you had something due. So this is the suggested assignment schedule that highlights, in blue, the hard deadlines, and then the black are kind of like, again, by this day, looking at the syllabus, by this day, you should be able to do these problems. Here is the homework regrade policy. This only applies if you feel like you've turned in a problem correctly, you've done the problem correctly, and you're still being marked wrong. And this has a lot to do with smaller values, even though I do have a 2% tolerance. Go ahead and submit for a regrade, but this is the policy to do that. So you must make sure you abide by that policy. Okay, so that's kind of all that in this slide. Again, the best advice to do well in the class is do your readings and homework assignments. And I mean, actually do them and review solutions to study because they are worth 35% of your grade. Okay, now a note about exams in this class. And so as I said, your exam is open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can open it as much as you want during that period, but I do ask that you submit individual submissions, okay? It isn't a group exam. All the exams are open book and open notes, so you have everything that you need. Canvas will not shut down, okay? Only the equations and concepts presented in this course can be used, okay? If you learn something in another class and you think it's okay, I'm like, okay, but if it's wrong and it's completely inappropriate, you're not going to get partial credit because you didn't learn it in this class, and it's not going to help you solve the problem. You will have access to the course materials during the exam. You will be assigned to a group, and you will have a discussion board created for you. And so you and your group can talk during the exam. You just can't share solutions, and you can't share numbers. You just can't do that. You can encourage each other. You can refer to specific lecture material, but you cannot tell each other the answer. You can only discuss problems with your discussion group using the discussion board. And so I'll get there. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to tell someone they are wrong. Don't be afraid to admit you are wrong. And it's in the spirit of the exam, I want you to focus on learning through community support, not copying solutions. There are no shortcuts to learning. You must struggle to learn. Do not, under any circumstance, share your solution. Everyone works at a different pace, so you do not want to bypass others' learning experience by sharing your solution, but you are welcome to discuss your solution approach, concepts and ideas, as well as specific equations, or refer to other relevant examples. So as I said, you can share, oh, hey, try this, or hey, try that, but don't send them your material, okay? Don't do it. You may use online resources to find relevant information, such as material properties. And this will happen a little bit. You're like, well, what density should I use? And you look at engineering toolbox, no problem. But you must provide that reference. You must cite that reference in your solution. Failure to do so is an academic offense. You have to cite your sources. You are expected to fully justify and support any reasonable assumptions in your analysis. No credit will be given to unreasonable assumptions and or justifications. That's a fact. You may not discuss the exams with others outside the class, including but not limited to online forums, tutors, and ghost test takers. So this is basically a terrible advertisement for Chegg and Bartleby, right? If you use those services, I guarantee you that I will find them, and I guarantee you that I will notice that you use them. They are the worst services because most of the time their answers are wrong. And now that this cheating has been such an issue, now they're giving universities the power to actually check who's using the solution. So they do have like the contract to like protect you, but not if you're cheating on an exam, because that violates their honor code. So don't do it. You're gonna get caught. It's gonna be bad. Don't do it. And the last point is, in fact, given the advanced nature of this topic as well as the context of the problem, you're the best suited person to solve the problem than anyone else, because you've just learned the material. You're relying on somebody perhaps from, again, Chegg or Bartleby, that hasn't taken the subject in a long time or might not understand what I'm asking, but you know what I'm asking. Well, you would know if you're paying attention in class. So I get that. I've seen it where I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. Why would you assume that? That doesn't, what? Why? We've talked about this so many times, and I'm like, this looks suspicious. Okay. And what's even more suspicious is when you guys share that. That's the worst. Don't do that. Share it with each other, I mean. Okay. Academic dishonesty. I expect you all to do your own independent work. Do not share homework assignments or exam materials. Any findings of academic dishonesty, and I will file a report with the Student Conduct Office, and the punishment ranges from failing the assignment, failing the course, academic probation, suspension, expulsion. I've had this problem in the past where students have said, oh, I didn't know that sending my homework to so-and-so was considered cheating. I hope you're gathering from my silence that that's me giving a ridiculous look, because yeah, you sharing anything with your colleagues that has your homework or an exam, that is 100% cheating. You are not helping them. Don't do it. You're not helping yourself. Don't do it. Okay? A lot of students, I don't know why, it's just like, oh, well, I'm helping so-and-so, or they asked me to help them. Don't help them like that. Help them by guiding them to the material that they need to solve the problem. Say, oh, she has an example just like this in lecture, blah, blah, blah. Don't give them the answer. Don't do it. And I understand if they're stressed out during an exam and you want to help them, it's really their responsibility. It's not yours. Let me help them. Don't butt in. Okay? Because I will file, ask around. I have many times. Don't let yourself fall into that category, and don't betray yourself and all your hard work, because unfortunately I can't just say, oh, well, so-and-so is a good student. They meant well. No, you're just as guilty. Don't do it. Okay. The next module that I have here is, oh, by the way, you have to actually view these things. You go here, you actually go to the video when I post the video, right? You have to view it. And then you'd have to go to each of these here. You have to click on all of them in order to show as complete. You have to complete all these items, okay? I just wanted to make sure you understood that. The next section is help and support. So these are just helpful things for you to get through the class. There's tables and charts. I've also added, some helpful links on how to connect your Google and Outlook calendar to your phones. There's some academic support and student services links, free software. If you don't have MATLAB or if you don't have Excel on your computer, this is a link to download. The Excel isn't free, but it's discounted for CSULA students. This is really helpful, the Canvas help and technical support resources. So this is, if you have a question about your computer, maybe your internet's not working on campus, when you finally come back to campus, or you're just having issues navigating through Canvas, this is how you can contact IT. And then, of course, accessibility and privacy and data security resources. This is for you to review. Okay. Oops. All right. Some tips on how to be successful in really any course is add the syllabus deadlines to your online calendar. So this is what I was saying about syncing, syncing those reminders to your phone, because it's just really important to stay on top of it, to stay organized. Add the Zoom meetings, with the Zoom info to your online calendar. I'd have to say that's pretty clutch, because a lot of the times we have Zoom meetings flying around everywhere and we're like, which Zoom is it? I just copy and paste it and put it in my calendar, and that way I just know what it is. Set day time reminders in your calendar to work through the instructional material every week. So we're not going to meet every single class, but on the days we do not meet, I have expectations that you're going to watch the material, the required material. And it doesn't have to be on the Monday. It could be on the Sunday. It could be on the Tuesday, but it has to be before we meet Wednesday. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Oops. Sorry. There we go. So, add your CSULA email to your phone. This is a big one, because all the announcements for the university, especially right now, they're sending things out new every day. These are the new guidelines, new protocol, changing this, changing that. Stay up to date. Add that CSULA email to your phone, Outlook, or your I think I just have like a general mail app on my phone. Go ahead and sync it. If you're having trouble syncing it, call ITS and they will help you. Read the Canvas announcements. A lot of those announcements are really important. Don't ignore them. They have to do with the material that's, being presented that day, or they have to do with, changes in the syllabus, like, I'm sick, I can't show up, here's the video you'd have to watch for the day. So it's very, I don't just send announcements willy-nilly. Huge one is communicate with your professor. Last semester I made a joke. I had said that, there is an hierarchy with communication when there's an emergency, right? It's the first person you're the closest person you're with, whether that be your partner, your parent, or your grandparent, or something like that. It's that person, like your number one contact person, right? Then it's your boss, right? If you have a job, right? Then it's me. Okay, I have to be high on that hierarchy when there's an emergency, because a lot of the times you'd have an emergency and you're like 2 weeks after that emergency happened and you've missed homeworks, you've missed quizzes, heck, you might even miss an exam. And then you tell me 2 weeks later, I can't do anything for you. You have to tell me when it's happening so I can make reasonable accommodations. I don't have to make an accommodation for you when you tell me something 2 weeks later, because at that point it's too late. I absolutely can make accommodations for you if you tell me right away, okay? Again, I have to be high on that communication chain. And I've had students tell me that in the past, where they're like, oh, my dad's very sick, I have to take care of him. Okay, no problem. And I would type up like, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to extend this. I'm going to extend that. We can move this to that. Boom. Do you accept these changes? They respond, yes, I accept the changes. Thank you very much. That's how fast we can come to an agreement. But if you tell me 2 weeks later, it's like, well, I didn't know you had this problem. You've already missed this exam. I'm not making another exam for you. Like, you're just going to have to either retake the class because you missed so much and you haven't talked to me, or, I mean, you're not going to put the burden on me. That's what's not going to happen. Okay? You're going to communicate with me immediately when you have a problem. Okay? Be honest with yourself and your workload. Do not put things off to the last minute because you don't think it will take that long. Oh, I don't think that Dr. Lopez's exams will take that long, or I don't think the quiz will take that long. Oh, I'm going to start my exam at 4 p.m. because she said it'll take us about 2 hours to do it. Yeah, but that's just an estimate, right? I mean, it will take somebody that knows what they're doing 2 hours to take the exam, right? And then in addition to that, you still need to upload it. So make sure that you're not pushing things off, and be honest with yourself about your workload. Procrastination can cause stress and poor performance. So again, I say that very generally. Some of you thrive off of the pushing things off, and you're last minute workers, and you might be successful at it. I'm like, that's great. If you're one of those people, I am totally jealous. I am one of those people where if I'm pushed that limit, I do thrive, but I am incredibly stressed out, and I'm physically torn when it's finished. I just prefer not to do that. Okay? All right. Enough of that lecturing. Let's talk about the assignments that are now due. So as I said, you have to make sure that you view all the Get Started Here pages, because it is a prerequisite in order for, on the left-hand side, for the introductions, chapter 1 and 2 units, and fluid properties module to open. So this will not open until you view all the items and Get Started Here, okay? Once you view all the items there, then it will unlock and you can do the meet and greet, introduce yourself. So the meet and greet, introduce yourself is just like it's a 2-part thing, where the first part, here, let me go ahead and view it. Where the first part is you must answer 3 questions about yourself. Okay, so the first is, what's your name? Do you have a nickname? What's your favorite food? What are your hobbies? And then you have to upload a photo of yourself. So it can be pre-quarantine or now, whatever you want. I'm hoping that everyone's getting out a little bit now and you can show me an up-to-date picture. After you submit your response, only after you submit your response, again, the first response is due by 8/23, then you'll be able to see the second response, then you'll be able to see everyone else's responses, and then you just have to follow up with at least one of your classmates engaging in further discussion. So it's just a way for you guys to interact with each other, okay? Keep it respectful. You must use full sentences and proper grammar, and like a response is, you can't expect to get credit for a response that's like, no way. No, it has to be something that, is like engaging, give it a full, complete sentence with like, wow, I've never been there to that restaurant. Have you tried this restaurant? So something like that, okay? Should be a normal discussion, okay? Once you finish that, then you go to the course overview quiz. And so this quiz is basically what I went through today. It talks about how many attempts do you have for homework? 3. How many attempts do you have for quizzes? 3. What are the deadlines for, the quizzes, the homeworks, and what are the start time and stop time for the mastery exam? So everything that we went through in today's little intro is going to be on that quiz, and you have to score a 9 out of 9. That's just showing me that you're taking, the class seriously, and you know what you're doing, okay? And you know the expectations. There's also going to be a requirement for you to acknowledge the cheating policy. Again, this is for my records to make sure that you've been told, because a lot of the times students start sharing stuff and then they say, oh, I didn't know. I wasn't told. Yeah, you were. It's the first thing we went through in this class. Okay? All right. And that's it for the first day assignments. And that's it for the first day assignments. And so, if you have any questions, where do you go? The course discussion forum. That's where you would ask your questions.